Well, hey everyone, welcome back to the cabin. You know, this has been 2 days and it just stopped raining. It has been raining for about 48 hours straight. I haven't been down to the creek to check to see what that looks like yet, but I did have my neighbor call and wanted to know if I'd been out, and I said no, but I had a visitor come up here early this morning, so I guess, you know, everything is passable. But a lot of times when it rains like that, when you live here in the mountains, that creek down there will get to where it might be 100 feet wide because it gets up out of the creek and then it covers the field down there, probably anywhere from 6 to 12 inches. So yeah, it gets pretty big when we have lots of rain. You know, it kind of put a damper on me getting out there and getting started on the foundation for that little hut too, because I was just getting ready to work on that, as well as we were able to get the front solar array put together in the last video, but I've still got hardware and a few more boards that I need to put on there for, like the toe board that I was talking about, and then the unistrut. But I've got the 2-inch washers painted black, and I have since then ordered some rubber washers to go underneath those metal, because I think that it'll kind of help keep the panels from sliding, because remember, I'm not going to tighten them down too tight, but that'll keep them from sliding. The footboard is what's going to hold them up on the array actually, and the fasteners will just hold it down. But I thought, like I said, that rubber would probably be a little bit better to kind of keep it from moving around. So this one, like I said, still needs the unistrut, and then those pieces that are coming down back there is what I'm going to rip a 2x4 and screw onto the bottom of that to actually make the toe board to hold the panels up. Then I also thought somewhere on the back I'm going to make one great big handle in the middle where I can reach up and grab that in order to be able to tip it. But I've still got to come up with the arms that are going to support that on all 4 posts. And then I think in a video I mentioned drilling a couple of holes that will be my angles, and so that once I have to move it, then I can just position that pin back in the hole and it will hold it for the next 6 months till I have to change it again. So we're just now getting into winter, so the panels will be set at 50 degrees. It is our latitude plus, you know, around 15 degrees, and then in the summertime it's minus 15 degrees. Well, I think the dogs are wanting to go down here to the creek and check it out, so we'll just walk down here and see what's up. Well, they found that sort of invigorating. They are all excited now because they are wet, and they're going to be wet going in the house too. It's a good thing I have wood floors, right? I stacked 4 parts of that black walnut right there. Then I was able to get just a short piece, probably maybe a little over 5 feet, and then we've got the crotch of it right there, so I saved that just in case I wanted to make anything out of it. Then there's a couple more pieces of it right over there. I'll be sure and try to make Jennifer something special with that black walnut. I was kind of thinking about a picnic table, because, you know, black walnut is really resistant to rot, so I'm thinking that it might make a good outdoor picnic table. But her road looks like it's still just a little bit muddy, so I'm not going to get off down in there. But the leaves are falling, and won't be long they'll have it covered, so it won't be nearly as muddy then. But yeah, fall is here. Leaves are falling, all the poplar leaves. Those trees are getting thin, and it won't be long till they won't have any on them. Then all the rest of them will start turning colors, and then they will fall. Another thing that I've got to do is I've got to get down here and finish putting the siding on this workshop at some point. So hopefully, if I can get all of that solar put together and we can get it working, then the next thing to do is to close this in, even though I don't have any floors in it yet, but to close that in so that at least the weather can't get in there and ruin any wood that might be low on the inside. And it's starting to sprinkle again. Yeah, it might stop raining for just a few minutes, but then it starts back in raining, and it may rain for a couple hours solid. But now up to this 48-hour mark, it didn't let up at all. It just constantly, and it's a steady rain. I did pick up 6 of these brackets for the floor joists. Once I get them on there, these will actually go up underneath. The reason I'm not going to put a flat board on top, which is normally the way that my floor joists, they'll set on top of a board that, you know, is on the bottom. It gives them support. I'm trying not to go too high with that little building because I don't want to get so high that it's going to cast a morning shadow, because the east is over in this direction. As it begins to come up, I don't want it to cast a shadow, especially in the wintertime, because that's when the sun is low, right, onto the front panels. So I'm thinking, you know, probably I don't need to go any more than 8 or 9 feet high. So that's going to be including the roof. So if I make a door that I can step into that's 6 feet, I'm thinking I can go up another 3 feet. So the roof will have a, of course, since it's a small building anyway, but it'll have a short, shallow type of a pitch to it, kind of like really actually every other thing that I built here. Yeah, I'm trying not to jack it up as I go, so I want to just set the joist down on that foundation with something underneath it, and then build from there up and try to keep it at a minimum. So I think once I'm done around those pillars, I've still got some of the stone left from the cabin. I may go ahead and kind of place some of the stone around there. It'll probably make it look really good if I did that. And then I also thought about underpinning the workshop down there. Of course, that'll be at a later date, but kind of making it look like the cabin, and that way, you know, if I do that, that will keep, you know, critters from getting under there, which I'm not worried, because, you know, there's nothing down there, right? It's just tools. So yeah, if it would just slow down just a little bit, maybe I can get back out there and get busy and start getting that foundation set so that we can get up to that building, because we can't do anything with the equipment until the building is done. Now, I am going to have to get in here because all of the outlets were left with just wire in there. And what I have done is I've taken certain legs of the wiring to plug in, and I put temporary ends to plug in to these battery packs that I've got in there, so that I can have a fan and have a light and so forth. I'm going to have to actually wire that into the panel in here in the kitchen, and then we're going to have to terminate all the ends of the wiring like you would if you were building a home. So that's next going to be on the list to do. Hopefully that won't take too long, but once we can get this hooked up and running, then my focus can be on, you know, working on that workshop down there and trying to get it covered up and so forth. But I'll tell you, when it gets this time of the year, not only do the days get shorter, but the weather, you know, you can't ever predict the weather. Of course, you can't predict it in the summertime either, but you have less dry days in the wintertime because of all of the moisture. But anyway, friends, thanks so much for stopping by and hanging out with us. We will get all of this put in as soon as possible, and it will get on to working on back down there at the workshop. We appreciate you stopping by, and we look forward to seeing you back up here at the cabin again next time.